Hello guys. Hello. I'm sorry I have been gone for so long. I wanted to do more videos, but I had some problems with my webcam and many stuff. So, anyway, now I sorted out and we can continue with our learning intermediate English with books. Some people have said to me that some of these intermediate books are actually very advanced, but well, we can go with this. And if you feel a little bit, you feel that this is a little bit difficult, we can tone it down in other types of books. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about the King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Very common book, classic in English. And we're going to be talking about the little first page, probably. So, the introduction. Let's go. They went back to the place outside the church, and Sir Ector put the sword in the stone again. "Now pull it out," he said to Arthur. Arthur pulled it out. It came out as easily as a knife out of butter. Sir Ector saw this and took Arthur's hand. "You are my king," he said. Only the next king can pull the sword out of the stone. Many people try, but they cannot move the sword. Then young Arthur tries, and it comes out easily. Now he will be king, but will he be a good king? Will his people love him, and will his life be happy? The story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table is very old. People know that there was a king in Britain between the years of 400 and 600. He fought the Saxons from countries of the north of Europe, and perhaps this king was Arthur. He lived, perhaps, in Wales or in the west of England, in Somerset or Cornwall. People wrote stories about this king hundreds of years later, but they made the stories more interesting and more exciting. At that time, people were interested in magic, knights, and their ladies. So, people fight with swords and use magic in these stories. Who wrote these first stories? Nobody really knows, but different people in France and Britain wrote about King Arthur and his knights. Not every book about them has the same people and stories in it. One book, 1484, by Sir Thomas Malory, is very famous. He used French stories about King Arthur and wrote them in English. Let's go for the chapter number 1. Arthur and Merlin. You know the Merlin, the magician. Let's go. This very old story begins with Arthur, a great king. He was a good man, and he was king of the south in the south of Britain. Other places were very dangerous at that time, but people did not fight in Arthur's country. Arthur loved a beautiful woman, Igraine, and he wanted to marry her. But she did not love him, and he was very sad about that. Merlin was a very clever man, and he knew a lot of magic. He could change into an animal or bird. Sometimes, when he used magic, nobody could see him. He also helped people with his magic, and one day he came to King Arthur. "You can marry Igraine," he said. "I will help you, but when you have a child, you will have to give the boy to me." "I will give him to you," said the king. He married Igraine, and later he had a baby son. They called him Arthur. When Arthur was 3 days old, a very old man arrived at the door of the king's house. It was Merlin. King Arthur took the child on his arms and gave him to Merlin. Merlin took the child away. He gave the boy, Arthur, to a good knight. His name was Sir Ector. So Arthur lived with Sir Ector and his son, Kay, and the two boys were brothers. A short time after this happened, King Usher was very ill. What is this word, guys? Ill is very close to the word disease. Is the word. He was very ill. He did not get better. He called for Merlin because he wanted to talk about the future of his country. Merlin came and listened to the king. "I know that I'm going to die," King Arthur said. "Who will be king after me?" So, coming back to the next part, here is it. "Call your knights and great men," Merlin told the king. "Tell them my son Arthur will be the next king." King Arthur told his people this before he died, but a lot of people wanted to be king, so the knights and great men began to fight. There was no new king for a long time. When Arthur was a young man, Merlin went to London. He visited the archbishop. What is this word, archbishop? We do have it in Portuguese too. Archbishop. Bishop and priest. You know these words, guys? Archbishop means over a little bit from the bishop. It's the Catholic. It's a Catholic name. It's Catholic rank, I would say. The most important man in church. "Call the knights to London. Then we will find a new king," Merlin told the archbishop. The knights came to London. They met at a large church, and the archbishop spoke to them. When they came outside, they saw something. Let me take this out. They saw something strange in front of the church. It was a very large stone with a great sword on it. The sun shone on the sword, and it looked very strong. The knights were excited and started to talk about it. Where did it come from? How did it get here? Who brought the stone here? We didn't see anybody. And who put the sword on it? What is the word sword, guys? Sword is a type of knife. Old knife. Old knife. You use it to it's not a old knife itself. I mean, it's a weapon. Let's put the word weapon here. Weapon for cutting. You know, people use it. Old people use it to slice stuff. Soldiers use it. So yeah, on the stone were these words: "Only the king can take the sword from the stone." Every knight tried to pull the sword out of the stone. Nobody could do it. The sword did not come out. The knights pulled and pulled, but they could not move the sword. "Our king is not here," said the archbishop, "but I know that we will find him." 10 knights stayed and watched the stone. The archbishop invited all the great men in the country to London for a big fight. There were many big fights at the time. People fought on horses with swords in their hands. The strongest and best knight always won. "Perhaps the new king will come to the fight," thought the archbishop. This word, guys, perhaps, it's close to the word maybe, very close to the word maybe. Sir Ector went to the fight with his 2 sons, Sir Kay and young Arthur. Arthur was now 16 years old. The young man wanted to fight with the other knights, but Sir Kay did not have a sword. Arthur was a kind young man. He wanted to help. There is a sword and a stone outside a church. I saw it on the way here. I will get in the fight with it. I will get it and fight with it. Then you can have my sword, he said to his brother. Arthur left Sir Kay and quickly went to the church. There were no knights outside by the stone because they were at the fight. Arthur climbed down from his horse and went to the stone. He did not read the words on the stone. He took the sword in his hand and pulled. It came out of the stone easily. He ran back to his horse with the sword. Some minutes later, he met Sir Kay and Sir Ector again, and he showed them the sword. Where did this sword come from? Sir Ector asked. He knew about the words on the stone. So that is the first part of the story. We're gonna stop in here, guys. And thank you for coming back, and we probably will see each other in another time. That was the first part of the author story. Beautiful story, actually. Thank you everyone for coming, and we see each other again. Peace out.